Greetings, peace, and love to all my followers, or viewers, I should say. Listen, my name is K-Mel, aka K-Mel, the body mechanic. Of course, I share with you all my life experience. That is part of what motivated me and inspired me to ultimately become a trainer. The fact that I was incarcerated for 20 years. Working out was my salvation. But not only was it my salvation, during the course of 20 years, I was able to learn a lot about myself. I've come to realize that I like to teach. And so because I like to teach, the medium that I've chosen for the most part on a professional level, of course, is the personal training, physical fitness. But now I would like to talk to you about something outside of that realm. Obviously, while I was incarcerated, that presented a great time for me to think. I guess that was a silver lining to that cloud, or one of the silver linings. Being incarcerated in many respects freed my mind, because when you're out here in society dealing with capitalism, your primary focus is trying to make the donuts. You have bills, you have family issues. Subsequently, it's very difficult for us to think deeply when we're out here. So when I was incarcerated, I utilized that time wisely. One of the reasons why I want to talk about this subject matter, which is outside of training, of course, is we're dealing with the economy, of course, and the state of affairs with this political body. And we're bombarded with criminal activity from the media and things of that sort. One of the things that I spoke about and addressed when I was incarcerated, we had a symposium actually, and we had guests from the outside. My subject matter was the effects that capitalism has on criminal behavior. And I'm touching upon that because I had a conversation yesterday with my mother. And you know, her position is her position with regard to criminal activity. Like most of us, no one wants to see criminal behavior, particularly when people are victims of this. Carjackings, robberies, this type of thing. So I get it. One of the things that I think that most people fail to look at is that conditions have been created that allow for people to respond differently. Where you and I may go to work hard, try to make money. Not everyone is wired like that. Subsequently, some people respond differently. You have some people that respond to this economy by killing themselves. You have others that respond to this economy by getting involved in criminal behavior. But when you're dealing with a capitalistic society, a society where you have haves and have-nots, that breeds a lot of jealousy and envy, particularly in places like Cuba, where they're dealing with communism or socialism even. Criminal behavior is, of course, a lot less rampant. And this is so because basically everyone has the same thing. Things like housing, basic food, education, those things are free. When you have individuals over here in America that cannot afford a place to live, that cannot afford food, just the basic necessities of life, people respond differently. You know, you have some people that resort to begging. You have others that resort to prostitution and other criminal behavior. Then you have some like my mother and most people in society, or many people in society, that they get degreed up, they educate themselves, they get a good job. Then you have others, like the entrepreneurs, like the Jay-Z's, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Russell Simmons, the Puff Daddies. They become entrepreneurs. That's a whole different segment of the population. But the bottom line is everybody responds differently to pressure. And we have to kind of look at that when we analyze this thing. A lot of times people focus on, they get angry when they see someone get robbed. And it's not a good thing. You know, of course, if someone sets out to attack me or rob me or a family member, of course I'm going to defend myself. And at that moment, I'm not happy with the situation. But I have to realize or look at why an individual chooses to go the route that he goes. Now, me taking my position does not mean that I subscribe to any particular lifestyle. All it means is that I understand. During the course of my incarceration, I learned a lot. For those of you all who are just seeing me or seeing this video, I was incarcerated federally as a result of a drug conviction. I maintained my innocence. I went to trial. My conviction essentially amounted to knowing the wrong people. I was charged with conspiracy. If you look up what constitutes conspiracy, and you look at my case in particular, you will realize that I was not incarcerated or arrested with any drugs. My conviction stemmed from testimony, the testimony of people trying to get sentence reductions. So that's just a little brief history about my situation or my past. But again, I would like to move on. So during the course of my incarceration, I learned a lot because I used to talk to all kinds of people. I remember prior to coming home, I filed 6 motions. Stayed in the law library, did a lot of law work. I did 6 motions. Those motions, for anyone who does not know, this document, legal documentation that is presented to the court. In that case, I was moving the court to reduce the sentence of not only myself, but 5 other individuals. The motions that I filed for these individuals was done simply from here, from the heart. I look at these brothers' situations, and I said they need help. They need to be out in society. One of the individuals had been incarcerated about 22 years. Another individual had been incarcerated about 21 years. When I filed my motion, I had 19 in. I ended up doing 20 years in total. The bottom line is that I filed these motions. These individuals did not ask me to file the motions. I simply just did it as an act of kindness. Honestly, I did it as an act of kindness. What I've come to learn about myself, I'm an Aquarius. If anyone does not know, Aquarius are humanitarians. I genuinely have a desire to help people. If I can help the world, I would help the world. Obviously, I don't have the money, but if I had the money to help the world, I would help the world, literally, seriously, because we need help. One of the motions that I filed was for an individual, a brother named Doggo. And this brother was from New York, like myself. And I used to talk to the brother a lot, younger than me. His disposition in life mirrored the disposition of many younger individuals that you see out here in society. When you hear their stories, the sad stories, he was not raised with the love and support. He did not see that growing up. The people that he respected betrayed him. He did not have the support and the love. And you see a lot of these youngsters, they don't have the love and the support that some of us may have grown up with. And because they don't have that, they have hatred in their heart. Because hate is the opposite of love. Love is the supreme understanding that you have for someone or something. So hatred is a lack of that. And so a lot of individuals have hatred in their heart because society, by and large, has shunned them, has not shown them that they are loved. And as a result, you see many of these individuals out here robbing, doing the things they're doing with no regard for others. So this individual, Doggo, good individual, great individual, everyone is redeemable. I was able to get through to Doggo by not only talking to him, but filing a motion for him for free. That touched him. That changed him in many ways. And that allowed him to open up to me in ways that he has not opened up to other individuals. Just on an intellectual level. A lot of times we have our guards up, we're defensive. I remember an individual telling me that many of us have what he called stray dog syndrome. And I laughed because I said, what is stray dog syndrome? But I'm going to define it to you as it was defined to me by an individual comrade of mine by the name of Spider. And what he said is this. You have a dog running down the block and it's stray. And you attempt to feed this dog and this dog growls at you. And you wonder, why is this dog growling at me? Well, the reason the dog growled at you is because everyone that had been encountered with this dog disrespected the dog, kicked the dog, threw something at the dog. So the dog became hardened. And whenever he saw a human being, he growled at him. So this is how most of the youngsters are in society. No one is doing anything kind for them. People are talking about them, disrespecting them, disregarding them. So their hearts have grown cold, and they are doing what they want to do. They're running rampant. The only way to change this is to reach out to them and show them that their lives matter. The most significant thing that you can do is help them where it counts. In the case of Doggo, freedom to those of us that were incarcerated was akin to money. So the best thing that I could do or could have done in that situation for not only him, but any individual in that situation, is to help them acquire their freedom. That to them shows them that you care. After doing an act of kindness of that magnitude, they begin to open up. You can talk to them. I didn't have an ulterior motive. Didn't. It was motivated simply from the heart. But what I came to realize is that when you reach out to individuals, you have to reach out to them in a manner that counts. Now let's take that whole situation and bring it out here in society. You have individuals out here carjacking, they're robbing, they're selling drugs, they're doing whatever they're doing. At the end of the day, they're trying to get some money. No one sets out to go to jail. Criminal behavior, particularly in our community, black community, like the brown community, occurs because of our social economic condition. That being said, if we can improve our social economic condition, we could then begin to reduce the amount of criminal behavior that goes on in our community. We can never discount the correlation between criminal behavior and capitalism. When we're bombarded with images of individuals wearing this Gucci, this Prada. When you're looking on social media and you're looking at the Jay-Z's, you're looking at the Puffys, the Beyoncés, the Kim Kardashians, all of these people, when you're looking at them, particularly young people, they subscribe to that stuff. They want those things. I mean, if it's good for the Jay-Z's, if it's good for the Beyoncés, it's good for the common folks. So we want that. Never mind that some of these individuals that want those things don't have anything beyond a 5th or 6th grade education. Doesn't matter. They still want those things. All right? So we have to look at that. What we're going to have to do, I think, particularly our people, we're going to have a talk with the young individuals. But when you have a talk with them, you got to give them something. You can't just talk to them. You can't just be talking at them. You can't just stand on the sidelines and talk about what they need to do, and you're not helping them. Particularly these young people now, they want money because everything is money orientated. That's just what it is now in society more than ever. It's on the internet. It's in the music. Hell, you go into the mall or the stores, everything costs money. Everything costs money. You got to pay for food, clothing, and shelter. So because of that, this is what it is. This is what the powers that be have created. You're not in a society where everyone has the same thing. People are having to deal with the pressures of the economy. People are having to deal with the pressures of capitalism. Everyone responds to pressure differently. What you do or what I would do in a situation may differ vividly from what others may do or will do in the same situation. This is something that I think we have to look at, and hopefully we can have this conversation and begin to move forward and resolve a lot of the ills that exist in our community. We can't look to other people to resolve our issues. We're going to have to ultimately resolve our own issues. But there's going to have to be a connection between those individuals like myself that are law-abiding and individuals that live beyond the parameters of the law. I hope that this video has been useful insofar as allowing us to be able to move forward. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful Wednesday. I'm out.